Welcome to A Changed Life. This is a podcast about choosing differently, how you think, how you relate, and how you lead yourself. Here we focus on the inner shifts that create real momentum and open up what's possible next. Welcome back to the podcast. It is Ilyse, your host. And today I'm going to ask you to breathe while you listen to this and look for whether or not this theme is showing up in your life. Okay? So I'm going to start out by saying that it is very likely that you may have been lied to, not in a malicious way, not by someone who woke up one day and said, you know what, I'm on a mission. I'm going to go lie to this person. But somewhere along the way, whether it was in your childhood home, in early relationships, or even current relationships, in the workplace, in a moment that probably felt small at the time. This wasn't like a big, heart-stopping, shuddering moment, but someone or something taught you that your best wasn't quite good enough. And here's the kicker. You believed it. And this is not because you're weak. It's because you're human. Because we absorb what we're taught before we're old enough to question it. And then that starts to become habitual. Take things on without questioning it. Because the people who taught it to you probably believed it about themselves too. So think about that. But here's what I want you to sit with today in this episode. What if that belief was actually never true? What if it was inherited and reinforced and running in the background of every decision that you've made, every relationship that you've chosen, every risk that maybe you haven't even taken, every time you shrunk or apologized or handed your power to someone else's opinion? And all along, it was a lie the entire time. And that is what we're going to talk about today. Not your performance and not your effort, not how hard you try, not whether you're doing enough. This is about your identity, the story that you've been carrying about what you're worth. Where did it come from? What is it costing you? And what is it costing the people around you? Because this is not a private problem, even though it feels very personal and private, because it was never just about you. So the question that I have heard many ask, what if my best isn't good enough, is one of the most shape-shifting questions I know, because it doesn't stay in one place. It follows you around. It's like a shadow. It's in the relationships where you've shown up, done the work, changed your behavior, and underneath all of it, there's a quiet inner terror that no matter what you do, it will never be enough to rebuild what was broken. It's in the decades spent trying to earn a parent's approval, the grades, the career, how you perform in sports, the life you built, partly hoping they finally say, I'm proud of you. And even when they did, if they did, something in you couldn't let it in. You just couldn't let it land. It's in the parent that lies awake replaying every mistake, every moment where they were too tired or too distracted, being too human, wondering if their kids are going to spend their adult lives working through all the things that they got wrong. It's in the professional who has given everything, who stays late, who comes early, who says yes when they really want to say no, who make themselves indispensable and still feel disposable. Different rooms, same questions, same lie underneath all of it. And in every single one of these situations, the person asking the question has done the same thing. They've handed their power to an external verdict. They're waiting for someone else to tell them whether they are enough. That handoff right there, that is where the problem lives. So let me be precise about what's actually happening here. You're not asking, is my effort sufficient? You're asking, am I sufficient? And you're letting someone else answer it. The calculation goes like this. If they stay, if they approve, if they promote me, if they finally say, well done, then I'll have the evidence I need and then I'll know. But the person who doesn't feel enough on the inside cannot be filled up from the outside. You can get the promotion and convince yourself that you got lucky. You can have someone tell you they love you and spend the entire relationship waiting for them to realize that you're not worth it. You can have a parent finally come through and find a reason it doesn't count. The evidence never lands because your identity won't let it. This is not a character flaw. This is neuroscience. This is the way the brain works. The brain looks for evidence that confirms what it already believes. If the belief is, I'm not enough on a deep level, that is the belief. And it's been running long enough to actually feel like the truth. The brain will filter out everything that contradicts it and amplify everything that confirms it. This is not you and your brain being broken. What you're doing is you're running an old, outdated program. And the old programs, they can be rewritten, but not from the outside. Never, ever from the outside. So here's the part that I really don't hear being spoken about. Your not enoughness, your not enough identity, it's not a private matter. It has a radius. When you move through the world as someone whose best isn't good enough, when that is the frequency that you're operating from, the people closest to you feel it. Your partner feels it, your children feel it, your colleagues feel it, not always consciously, but it's there and it lands. Your kids are watching, not listening to what you tell them, watching what you show them. They watch when you shrink. They watch when you hand your power over to other people's opinions. They watch you apologize for taking up space, and they learn. This is what adults do. So this is what I should do too. Your partner lives alongside someone who can't fully receive love because they don't fully believe they deserve it. That has its own quiet loneliness that neither of you may even be naming. The people that you lead professionally, if you're in some kind of a management position, they feel the hesitation in your decisions, the ideas that you don't voice, the risks that you don't take, the rooms you don't fully go into because you've already decided your contribution won't be enough. You are responsible for the energy you carry into every space. The not enough identity, it's an energy. It is a vibe. It's a frequency, and it is affecting people who love you in ways that may not be able to articulate. This isn't about guilt. This isn't about guilting you, guilting yourself. Guilt doesn't change anything. This is about ownership and authorship. Because the moment you realize and understand the radius of your own identity, the moment you see that this isn't just your private struggle, but something that ripples outward, the motivation to do something about it shifts entirely. So let's talk about this inside job, right? What actually changes this? It is not the promotion. It's not the relationship making it. It's not the parent coming through. Not any external validation. You've been architecting your life around. What changes this is a decision, and that decision is to become the authority on your own enoughness, to stop outsourcing that verdict, to look at that programming. Where did it come from? What's it been running? And what has it been costing you? And consciously decide that you're done letting it drive. This is deep identity work. This is not affirmations. It's not telling yourself you're enough while you don't actually believe it, but actually examining the self-concept you've been carrying and asking, did I choose this? Does this actually belong to me? Or did I inherit it from someone who is running the same program about themselves and I didn't know how to stop? Because most not enough identities, they are inherited. You did not create this on your own. You inherited this, most likely. These were downloaded before you had the capacity to even question them. They've been reinforced by relationships and environments that confirm them. And they've been running quietly underneath everything since. And here's what I know to be true from the work that I do with people. The not enough identity cannot survive honest examination. Not because you think your way out of it. That's not going to work. But because when you actually look at where it came from, really look, you see that it was never actually yours. It was handed to you by someone who it was handed to also. And somewhere in that lineage, there was a moment where a lie became a legacy. You do not have to keep passing it forward. So there's one other thing that I want to talk about before we close here. If you're in a relationship right now where the question is alive, where you really feel the energy of this question, where you're the one that's asking, is my repair enough? Or the one waiting to feel safe again, there is something more useful than suffering in silence with that question. Ask it out loud. Ask it out loud, not as a performance, not as a way to extract reinsurance from somebody else, but genuinely, what would my best look like to you? How would you know if I was actually showing up? What would that feel like from where you're standing? Because what one person thinks best looks like and what another person actually needs can be completely different, and neither of you are wrong. You're just guessing in the dark when you could be having an actual, vulnerable, genuine conversation. The question, what if my best isn't good enough, keeps you locked inside your own head. The conversation, what does my best need to look like for you, brings you into connection and closer to another person. That's where real repair happens, not in the performance, in the conversation. What if your best has always been enough, and the only thing that couldn't receive it was the story you inherited about who you are? What if the job and the relationship and the parent, what if none of them were actually the verdict? What if they were just the places where the real question kept showing up because it had nowhere else to go? The lie, it was never about your performance. It was about your worth, and worth is not something anyone outside of you gets to determine. And this isn't some motivational speech. That's not what we're doing here. This is just true. No one gets to decide what your worth is. And when you're outsourcing that, you know that you are on a slippery slope. So getting honest about that and really getting into that deeper work is going to be life-changing. I am Ilyse Craft. This is a Changed Life podcast. And if something in this episode landed, shifted, made you think, made you cringe, did something for you, share it. someone in your life is carrying this very same question and doesn't know where to go with it. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. I'll see you next week. If something in today's episode resonated with you, you'll find a link in the show notes to book a free consultation call. Or you can visit ilyse to explore my programs and free resources. Nothing changes until you do. And when you do, everything does. This is a changed life. Not all at once, but for good.